going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trick 10s. Today we are going to be working on a 2060 custom build. Are you kidding me? The ice cream man wants to show up. Literally, I hit record and the damn ice cream man shows up with his... I gotta go get some ice cream. We'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So this boat behind me is a custom build. This thing's pretty sick. It's a 2060. Now I'm gonna put some pictures of the boat while it's in progress up on the screen right now so you can check them out while I tell you a little bit about who built it and where it came from. So the boat was built by Berkeley Taylor from Madison Heights, Virginia. He used to work at River Road Jet Boats. Now he has a regular job and he makes boats for personal use and for his friends. It's pretty badass. It's a 2060 side console. It has a Johnson 152-stroke engine on it. This thing is very, very powerful. Lots of torque. And it has a Bob's kickback jack plate. The whole of this rig is 3/16, and the transom is made out of 1/4-inch thick aluminum. Pretty cool little project. I'm going to turn this camera around and give you all the walkthrough of this thing, let you check it out the way it says, and then I'm going to tell you what we plan to do with it. Y'all know how this works. Let's get right into it. Let's check it out. This thing is humongous. This motor on here is sick. Now, I really actually like this motor. I know a lot about it because I had one on my old boat. Same exact motor. I don't know if you can see it because there you go. Johnson GT 150. I had the same motor on my old Striper Sea Swirl, and I mean, this thing is badass. It's very loud, sounds like a real motor. It's got lots of power, lots of torque. It's definitely a motor. It's not one of these 4-stroke motors. A lot lighter than the 4 strokes, a lot more powerful, burns a whole lot more gas. There's a Bob's jack plate he's got on here. Pretty cool. I'm sure this thing sounds like a damn motorcycle, but check it out. So this is the way he built this thing. It's pretty neat. It's got a plate, 1/4-inch on the back, and then it's framed. The transom is built out of some 2x3. It's like 1/4-inch thick tubing. We're going to be putting some more of this up here. I'm going to tell you about that in just a second, but let's take a look at this thing. So the way he did this back step on here, he's got a gusset angle on the corner here, and then he's got another one on the inside. That's a pretty cool idea. I mean, it works out perfectly. You got a step on either side. Now, he did cut his transom down here. Not sure if he had to do that, but not really a big deal either. Same thing on this side with the step. Pretty cool project though, man. And you can see in some of the pictures he showed how the gas tank is in here. This thing's got a big, the bait tank. So the fuel tank, I'm assuming, is behind it. Yeah, fuel tank right there. I don't know if he's got 2 fuel tanks or 1. I guess he's got 2 fuel tanks. There's one on either side. Pretty cool. That's a pretty big size live well in there. I don't know how well this thing will... Well, I guess it wouldn't get out of there. It just wouldn't splash around. That's a gigantic bait well / live well. That thing smells fishy, man. Damn it, he didn't even let that water out of there. No wonder it stinks. I'm going to have to pull this back outside and pull that plug out of there, drain that sucker out. But it's pretty neat the way he did this whole back deck area. He's got some attachments here, I guess, for pole seats or rod holders for trolling or whatever. He's got more here. I know these are for the screw-in rod holders. Pretty neat. He's got some rod tubes here and some buckles here so you can fit fishing rods on either side. And inside of this back bench, well, there's his gas tank up inside of there. And you can see that he's built some custom Plano storage box to slide them in there. I mean, it's a pretty badass rig for someone to build at home. I like the look of it. The only thing I would have done different is instead of putting a pipe up here, I would have put a rectangular tube. Well, he's got a little console in here. I like the angles of it. A cup holder. It's got a big open floor plan in here too. And then up on the front deck, these are aluminum. There's some more rod holders up here. Not exactly sure what that's for, but it is attached to the deck. Storage box in here. Well, that's just opened up to the bottom of the boat. Yeah, I would have put a floor in there, honestly, but I don't know. Maybe we can do that for him. I did think this is pretty cool though. He's got some string and shit in here, but I think this is pretty cool. Check this out. Pretty neat, right? I mean, he says foot pedal tray on a hinge. I mean, it probably vibrates like crazy when you're running that big 150 and hitting some wake, but I thought it's pretty cool. Pretty cool idea to have the thing hinge up like that, give you some space underneath of it. And his front deck is pretty cool the way he did this too. This little wraparound area, he's got some storage in here. The center one is on a hinge. None of the internal compartments are really finished off, but I mean, it's like a work boat, utility boat. Not a fancy boat. Well, the outsides of the boat is 3/16. And the bottom might be 1/4 inch too. I don't know. Oh, look at that. You got some holes. With bolts sticking through. What's that about? Let's see what's inside of here. Well, they just go right through. Huh. That's a new one. They're obviously in a pattern. So something was mounted there. What would be mounted there? If you guys know, leave a comment because I don't know. Maybe it was some type of lights. It's not on the other side. It's only on this side right here. But I'm gonna have to build me a boat, man. It doesn't seem that hard to do. Only thing that worries me is like I'd like to have some ribs running down here, but you know, it is what it is. Probably gets a little swirly, especially with the speeds you can hit with that 150. But it's pretty cool. I like the way he did these lights. They got a little protectors over top of them, like a visor, keep them from getting beat up and knocked into the docks and pylons. Let's talk about this blue tape line on the side. Well, one of the issues that the guy has with this rig, he did take it out in the bay, and he said that you just get soaked. There's no water spray. It doesn't cut the water just comes into the boat. So that's what we're gonna do. This blue line, it's just a rough mark of where he wants us to put an angle. I'm gonna put like a 2 by 1 inch aluminum angle. I'm gonna bend something and I'm gonna stretch it the whole length. Now obviously we're gonna have to put it together in a couple pieces because I only have 10-foot material. So I'm gonna have a seam in it. We're gonna stitch weld it, like every foot, 10 inches, something like that. So that's the big thing he wants to get done. We're doing that on both sides. Up here on the front, before we get to the back and talk about that, you see right here, I put a mark on it. Well, what he wants to do with that is we're gonna cut a hole through here and through the bottom of the hole, and we're gonna put a piece of pipe through there and then weld it solid top and bottom. It's kind of like a spud pole anchor, but instead of having it sitting off of the boat, he wants it to actually go through the hole. I think it's a pretty cool idea. I've seen some guys do that before. That's what we're gonna do. And then back here, he wants to build this transom up because he duck hunts out of this thing, obviously. So he wants to have this built up for a long-tailed mud motor. So we're gonna do it on both sides because I don't know which side he wants it on, and neither does he. So we're gonna come in a couple inches from the edge, up about 6 inches, and back down over there. I have some of this 2 by 3 quarter wall tube. That's what we're gonna build that out of. Probably gonna get the MIG welder out for that because that's pretty heavy duty. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side right here. He also wants me to put a pipe onto this so that he can have another spud pole anchor. So we're gonna weld pipe onto these two. Don't know if he wants them on both sides. I'm gonna have to ask him, but definitely said he wants it on this side right here. It's not too awful much to do with this rig, and I got a feeling he'll be back too to get some more stuff done. It's a sweet rig though. And Berkeley, I will give it to you. Did a good job on it. I've never built a boat from scratch and kind of jealous, but looks like it's pretty simple to do. A little bit of time consuming. If I built a boat, I'd probably want to build it for myself though, but I don't know. You never make any money when you build stuff for yourself, so I'd probably end up selling it. Either way, it's a cool project, man. We're gonna try to get this thing going right now. I don't have Austin with me today, but I got one of my employees, Mangus. He's gonna be helping me. We're gonna get this stuff going. So we're gonna start with these rails on the side right here, I think. But anyways, let's get back to work. All right, so the tape that he had on here was all over the place. I came back and put some marks here. Now I'm gonna have to draw a line across here, and we're gonna grind this and then get this piece put up here. We came down 9.5 inches. That's kind of splitting the difference of what he had. So I think it'll be all right, but we're gonna get a straight line on here. It's cleaned up, get some welded on here. Let's get back to work. All right, so we got this one tacked on. I mean, I think it looks pretty cool. We just put a couple tacks across the top. We did have to piece it together right there, but it looks pretty good. Now up here, I was kind of trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this. And I think what I'm gonna do is cut like a triangle for both of these and then make this to where it kind of tapers in like a point. That way it'll look like it's supposed to be like that, and it looks like somebody knew what the hell they were doing that made these. But I think that should definitely catch any of the water spray and just shove it out. Should be more than enough to keep the majority of the water sprayed out of the side of the boat. I did just talk to the customer because I wasn't thinking about it until I really started looking at it from a fabricator's point. But if we're gonna be welding right here, that's a gas fill right there. The tank is right there. So I called him up and I was like, dude, I'm not comfortable welding this on here with this thing having gas right here, and these tanks are full. I don't know how big these tanks are. I know that thing drinks a lot of gas, but I looked at the tank. You can see it from up underneath here, and it's about half full, maybe a little less than half. And the one over there is very similar, but I mean, there's a decent amount of gas in there. There's probably at least 10, 15 gallons of gas in here, and that's enough to send my ass sky high if something happens. So I told him that he can either come pick it up and drill these out, remove these tanks, or I'll do it. And he wants me to do it. So a little bit more work. Not going to be that big of a deal, I don't think. These just have like these big pan head rivets in here. They're good size. But I'm going to drill all these out, pull this deck off of here, disconnect the gas tanks, and I'm going to set them outside while we do this work right here and put them right back in the boat. But I think that would be our safest option, and that way I can live to weld again. Let's get back to work. So I lost my help, but we had a big job he had to go out on, my brother. I'm gonna get somebody to help me put the other ones on the other side, but man, that thing turned out sharp. I really like the way this front piece turned out. See how I dead ended that? Turned out really slick looking. Looks like it's supposed to be like that. And that's what we're going for. I think it looks really cool. Once it gets it painted, you'll never know that that wasn't originally on there. Got some pretty looking welds on there. Only issue I had was it started sucking out a little bit on me right over in here. It's because they had a lot of weld on the inside where this is welded and this is welded, and that sheet was warping a little bit, but it's pretty tight. Pulled out pretty good. Got my seam right there. The hardest part was right here. And those welds look pretty damn good considering that they're overhead and they're right in front of this fender. So I'm laying down like this and trying to keep my head down low enough. I mean, you can see the camera is barely, you can see it, and you got to have a shield on. So those are pretty difficult. I did not cap the end off yet. I'm getting ready to do that. I'm not going to do it like I did with the front. I'm not really worried about it being tapered. I'm just going to cap it off with a little triangle. And honestly, I think Probably looks fine like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cap this one and then get the other side done. I talked to the customer yesterday. He said go ahead and take the tanks out. A little bit of extra work and it's a little bit extra money. So either way, he wants me to go ahead and do it. I'm gonna take this off, get these tanks out of here, and then we'll weld these pieces on the back and put it all back together. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the angle put on the other side first, and we'll circle back and see what they look like. Let's get back to work. All right, so both sides are done. I really like the way that turned out. It looks really good. Looks cool looking. Got some good welds on this side too. Welded solid all the way down. And I decided to go ahead and cap the back off. Looks good. And caps on both sides. Now we're gonna have to take this deck out of here. So I'm gonna put you guys back on the hyperlapse. I'm gonna drill out all these rivets, remove this deck, remove both of these gas tanks, and then we'll start fabricating these pieces back here for the long-tailed mud motor. Let's get back to work. All right, you can see what we got up underneath of here. Got some big tanks in here. They're foamed in. Stuff's hard as a rock. He's got this aluminum channel piece. Actually, that's just an angle piece that runs across the top, welded solid. This one's welded solid. That would have to be both removed. And maybe even this one. This is close. I don't know. It does sit behind it. Might be able to twist that tank. But reality of it is that I'm not going to take these tanks out of here. It's not going to fit into the budget. It's a whole lot more work than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to leave them. Hopefully don't blow up. What I'm going to do is put the piece back in here and rivet it down. And then I'm going to put a wet rag over this and duct tape this off and put like a welding jacket over it. Now I was originally going to MIG weld this, but I'm not going to do that because that's going to throw sparks. I'm going to grind this up the best I can, bevel it, and I'm going to TIG weld the whole thing here. Now I got my homie Mangus making this for me. He's putting it together over there on the other side of the shop. I'm going to make both sides. I'm going to go ahead and put this floor back in here, get it riveted down, clean this up. Then I'm going to go work on putting the spud mount bracket anchor hole up in the front up there. And hopefully by that time we'll have this back done so we can get that thing finished up. Let's get back to work. All right, so check it out. This thing is done. Looks a little weird, but it's exactly what the customer wanted. We brought this transom up 6 inches on both the port and starboard side, and that allows him to put his long tail mud motor on either side, whichever side is gonna work out better for him. Now, I used the same type of material he did here. It's a 2x3, so I just used the 2x3 by 1/4 inch tubing. And the way we did this one, it worked out well because we just mitered those corners at a 45, and when we put it together, we had the height of the 3 inches and the 3 inches. It gets him to 6 inches of height, which is what he was looking for. So Mangus welded this piece on the table, and then I came back and welded it into the boat. Now, obviously, I did cover all this up, and I'm still alive, so thank the Lord, but welds look good. Turned out nice. And then I did put these little spud pole brackets on the side for him too. He wanted to add these in here. And it's basically just another little extra spot for him to drop an anchor pole through. We did put one on both port and starboard. Pretty simple. Looks sick. And this is pretty cool upgrades for the boat. I'm not too familiar with these long tail mud motors. I mean, I know what they're for, but I'm just not a duck hunter. I don't go up in the marsh. I never have use for it, but a lot of people do. So now he has a bracket for it, anchor bracket. And these, though, I do like these. These are cool. That's really the whole part of the boat that I really dig. Makes me want to build my own boat. I mean, once that thing's painted, it really changes the whole look of the side of it. And I think it's going to make it a whole lot more, you know, efficient on the water as far as the ride goes with keeping some of that spray down. Now up front here, I put a hole in this. It's a little bit hard to make this thing straight through because, you know, this is flat. And underneath here, it's at an angle. I'm putting that hole saw through there, but we got it pretty close to straight up and down. And that's an 1.25 inch hole, so he's probably gonna put like a 1-inch anchor rod through there. It'll be all right. And welded it from up underneath the bottom. Pretty neat. I like doing that through the hole like that. It's just sick, man. I mean, it's not sticking off on the sides, nothing to catch up the boat on. And it's just like it's part of the boat. Once it gets painted, it looks like it's always been there. Sweet little project. This boat really makes me want to build a boat, guys. I got to do it. Somebody out there want to help fund it, I will build a boat, test drive it a couple times, and then it's yours. So if you're interested in building a boat, hit me up because I want to do it. I just don't have the funds. And the reality of it is we probably only need a 60 by 240 to build the floor at a 1/4 inch. And then we need 60 by 140 of 3/16 to do the sides. And then the rest of the decking and stuff, I got that. And the back sheet, we can do that at a 1/4 also. We might need another 4x8 to do that. But I guarantee you that I can do this and I can make this look a lot better. Nothing against the guy who built this boat. I think it looks great, but you know, I just feel like I could do a better job in it if I did it myself. And one of these days, I'm gonna get around to doing it. Cool little project though. I'll let you guys know how the boat handles with these pieces on the side to see if it keeps the spray down. When I find out some information from the customer after he tests it, I'll leave a comment in the video and let you guys know what it does. Sweet build though. All right, so it's a pretty cool project. Pretty neat boat, man. I dig this type of stuff. It was a lot of welding in there, man. I could feel like my arms are just roasted right now from welding all this stuff, but it turned out good. It looks good. It's exactly what the customer asked for. He's gonna come pick this thing up hopefully tomorrow so I can get it out of here because I got a ton of hatches to build. I know a lot of guys have been reaching out and ordering hatches. I do appreciate that. If you're interested in getting some custom metal work done on your boat or hatches and stuff shipped to you, check out my website, trick10sjohnboats.com. Send me an email at professionalwelding@gmail.com. And if you guys really want to help me out, go cop some of my merch. You can find my merch on trick10s.net. I got a bunch of t-shirts and sweatshirts starting to get cooler outside, some hats. Going to be getting some more new products dropping up there very shortly, and it would really help me out. So I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Hit that like, subscribe button. Y'all know how this goes. I'll see y'all on the next one. Let's get back to work.